Salute to all the real ones out there. It's your boy Mike coming at you again with another video. Yo, y'all like the content that I've been dropping? I need you to like, comment, subscribe, and share my videos with anybody you think may benefit from them, alright? Now, today's topic is going to be called Pillars of Manhood. Pillars of Manhood. And the topic idea came from, it's more like a response, honestly, to the Academy of Ideas recent video that they dropped, which was called Why Are So Many Men Psychologically Infantile? And within their content, I must say, they're always bringing out things that are very thought-provoking. So I challenge all of y'all to go over to Academy of Ideas and subscribe to the channel. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're a philosophical and thinking man. But within their recent video, they covered a lot of different points that I felt like I had to extract and use for my video on Pillars of Manhood, because I mean, it's just profound, some of the things that they brought up, the quotes that they use, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I think you guys will benefit from hearing some of these points. So there was a quote that they used from Gilbert Hurt, and he had a publication called Rituals of Manhood, and in it he said, femininity unfolds naturally, whereas masculinity must be achieved. And here's where the male ritual cult steps in. So if you guys haven't noticed, in many cultures, like in the Western world, it's becoming almost normal that boys are growing up without their fathers. So in turn, you have men who are floating through life without a compass leading to their own manhood. So if you think about past civilizations, they always had a rites of passage for young boys to be initiated into and succeed past in order to be actually considered a man. When you think about our culture, let's say I'm speaking specifically like the black community in America, most of us do not have a father around. We're growing up trying to figure out how to become a man, and anatomically we're men. We have penises, we have facial hair. A lot of us even played sports and became brutes. Physically strong, but in a way we're very mentally weak because we don't really know what pillars of manhood we're supposed to be standing on, right? So I kind of talked about this a little bit in my video called Intentional Suffering, like ways that you can actually become more manly, ways that you can boost your masculinity. But a rites of passage is something I've never really truly gone through, because I'm not part of a culture that would take me at the age of 13 or 14, put me out in the forest and go through all these things. If you think about the movie 300, when Leonidas was young, that was a good example of how it was in ancient Greek, and antiquity with the Spartan culture, how they took the young boys who were only maybe 7, 8, but made them fight, made them go through all of these things in order to become warriors and future defenders of their own country, right? There's other examples, but at the moment it's slipping my mind. But like I joined the military. That was another good example of a rites of passage, but it was to become a soldier. But you can say it's synonymous with becoming more of a man, because you go through different struggles that you otherwise would not have faced. Now, of course, today's military is totally watered down because women are in the same MOSs now, and they're even going combat arms and all this other bullshit. But that's a topic for another day. At the end of the day, a rites of passage is somewhat essential to becoming a man. Another thing is the mentality of embracing struggle and becoming self-reliant. There's nothing that you could do to really get around this if you want to be considered a man. And you guys have seen people who have never really taken on this mentality, right? Even you know what? I'd be probably 100% correct. Well, I won't say 100%. I'll say I'll be 90% correct if I assume that if you're watching this video, right now, you're a young man, let's say in your 30s or whatever, you can easily reference at least one uncle in your family or one cousin that's older than you but hasn't taken on the mindset of embracing struggle and becoming self-reliant. They still live at home, let's say with their grandfather or with your grandmother or with an aunt or uncle. They're just not really truly on their own. They're still living with somebody else, still codependent on someone else. They never really did anything with their life. They have a victim mentality. Like the list goes on and on, but you guys see where I'm going with it, right? Everybody has at least one person like that in their family that's older than them. And honestly, I want you to use that person as a reference as what not to do in life, because everyone can teach you something. But this person right here that I'm talking about has not truly became a man yet, because this is something that's like a key part. And if he hasn't internalized that yet, and he's older than you, maybe he never will. You see what I mean? But it's like, come on, man, you're never really truly a man if you can't embrace struggle. That's a large part of what you can expect to experience as a man. The only people that really get loved unconditionally are women, children, and pets. As a man, it's a cold, hard road, and I've talked about that in some of my other videos, but that's neither here nor there. Also, another pillar of manhood, or let's better name this, somebody who won't achieve manhood is a victim of lethargy, consumed by the spirit of regression. All right, so this is basically having a mindset or a plan of action about life that's impotent and passive. And I talked about this a little bit in my video called Rudderless Ships. You know what I'm saying? Just people who, not people, I'm talking specifically about men here, who just float through life. It turns out however life deems it should turn out, but they don't have ever a strong plan of action on what they want to do and giving it all that they have to accomplish it. They just float through. It's almost like driftwood on the ocean, on the surface of the waves. Wherever it takes them, that's where they're headed. So it's basically a passive mindset versus a potent and active mindset. A lot of men also, as they said in the Academy of Ideas video, they remain in the psychological womb of the mother. Yo, this is something that I know everybody of y'all have seen. Y'all, there's no way. Think about just some of the dudes that are even in your circle. You know beta males. Now think about their behavior. Think about how they look at women. How much power they actually give to women. Their whole existence revolves around women. You guys have seen this before. You guys have definitely seen this. Dudes who everything that they're doing is to get either to get the attention of, or to attract, or to be with, or to get the validation from a woman. It's never a self-assessment. It's never a self-discovery. It's never an inward journey thinking I have to become the man that I've always wanted to become. It's always about a woman. So this is basically like the beta males that you see. Basically the boy with the man's appearance, you know? Like I got people like that I know who, for example, still live with their mom, but they're all about buying the latest clothes and trying to pull hoes and this and that. And it's like, whoa, you haven't even stepped out on your own as a man and fought for yourself and stood on your square. You're still living off your mom's work, off your mom's opinion, off your mom's support. what kind of man are you if you haven't really broken out and became independent? You see what I mean? So it kind of goes back to that point about self-reliance. Yeah, the next point I already mentioned, but it's the dependence on validation and approval for women versus achieving manhood and self-mastery. I mean, it's at an all-time high in this day and age because you have a simp culture that is insane how internalized that is in the minds of so many men. I mean, seriously, it's all about pussy, chasing women. It's almost sickening, bro. And that's where you have this thirsty dude that he ain't trying to do nothing unless there's some women there. Hey, you trying to go meet up? Oh man, they got some chicks over there. So you can't just meet up with a friend and just have some drinks and post up and watch the game. It always got to be some females in the mix somewhere, you know. Dudes that'll go to the strip club, yeah, man, you know, I tossed at least 2 bands in the strip club, you know what I mean? You had them hoes wilding out. Whoa. So you went to a place where you, like, that's really what we about now? Total sin. You have pleasure and hedonism versus meaningful purpose and legacy creation. That's something that usually women do. I mean, I'm not knocking women, but I'm saying they're usually very solipsistic and hedonistic by nature. They only see the world through their own eyes. They don't like ponder the grand bird's eye view of the world and question why things are the way they are, or ponder about the nature of reality. Women see the world through their own eyes. What is the world doing for me? What can I get? Who's gonna buy me something? Who can I count on to give me the life I want? You know, a woman doesn't really have to think about a grand existence or creating a legacy. All they really have to do is focus on their biological imperative for the most part. Well, before feminism, which was, I want to be with a dude who can take care of me and support me so I can bring these kids into the world. Like by definition, a woman is already successful if she has a decent relationship with a dude and his mother. You know, feminism just came along and poisoned their mind and told them, oh no, you should compete with men and use it. So now I guess they happy to be working at UPS or working at a factory or whatever the fuck they're doing to make money and honestly struggle just like men do. But look, the stats show that they're not even happy as they used to be back in the day when they were just housewives. So that's neither here nor there. That's the topic for another video. But what I'm trying to say is, like, women are usually the ones who are all pleasure seeking and hedonistic. It used to be men that used to have like the discipline and the ability to discern a better path in life. You know, understanding that you have to struggle, you have to go through some type of adversity in order to truly become a man. There was something also coined in Academy of Ideas video that I really had to take out and use it as a point to drive home. As a man, you're supposed to try to achieve a gentile autonomy. A gentile autonomy. Basically being a person who can function on your own, you're self-reliant, self-sufficient, and you take agency for your station in life. All right, and it's basically becoming your own hero because no one is coming to save you. All right, this victim mentality that many of us wield, you need to strip yourself of that. You're doing not only yourself a disservice, but also younger men who are underneath looking at maybe your example. You might not know that they're looking at your example, but they are. Facts. I mean, think about all the times that you were a young boy. Like, when you walked into the mall or whatever, and you saw an older dude that maybe was dressed nice and was carrying himself a certain way, you might not have idolized him, but if his behavior was suspect, it would have an effect on you a little bit. Just for the simple fact that you're a young man and you look at other men to gauge how you're supposed to act. Of course, we're all supposed to create our own code of conduct, but what I'm saying is, like, if you look left and right and you see a bunch of dudes in their 30s and 40s with that fuckery, with that weak mentality, catering to a woman, doing everything that she says, all about just hanging out and being pleasure seeking. No man puts his nose to the grindstone and works hard. No man hits the gym, lifts weights, and honestly puts his own feet to the fire and chases a destiny that he's created for himself. If you see that constantly as a young man, how are you supposed to turn out? You see what I mean? Another pillar of manhood that I want to stress: inner demons and fears must be confronted head on and slayed. This is arguably the biggest and most formidable demon is lust, right? And it's imperative to overcome that and transmute your sexual desire. I talked about that in one of my last videos, which was, sexual transmutation. In this day and age, it's very important. Porn is everywhere. It's accessible on any device. And it's high definition, high, output. You can search any category. It's all free. There's definitely an agenda behind that. And I just think what it does is it just rubs out the potency of men. And it makes all of us just kind of docile, dull, floating through life versus being, headstrong in the moment and in control of our lower nature. So I basically wrote down 6 extra principles that I think all of us should try to strive for. And I don't even really have to elaborate. I feel like they're self-explanatory. Direction and purpose. A noble foundation. Basically doing the right thing. Having a good moral compass. Trying to be a leader and seeking counseling. Physical fitness and strength. Intelligence, lifelong learning, and accountability / self-discovery. So these are all my pillars of manhood. Y'all got anything y'all want to add? Throw it in the comment section, all right? So like, comment, subscribe, and holla back.